you ever been watching Food Network at home and seen the professionals really chefing it up with a giant stir fry and a wok and thought to yourself, wow, I want to do that at home? Then logically, the next step is to go on the internet and look up how do I get a wok? How do I season it? And you're immediately bombarded with so much information. You need to use this oil or it's not going to work. This is the best burner type. All the other ones aren't good. This is the only wok to use. It's the best one. You need to use this much oil and be super careful or it's all going to burn. And quite frankly, as an amateur chef, this is a lot of information and it's very overwhelming and leaves you confused and wondering, I guess I'm just going to go for it and hope for the best. Then you get a situation like this. Can we stop and get wok? Mom, we have wok at home. Wok at home. These badly seasoned ones that aren't going to work very well. In both of these cases, something happened during the seasoning process, and it resulted in a wok that does not have an even uniform layer of seasoning, and therefore it's not good for cooking food with. But what if I told you your wok at home doesn't have to be this way? It can be good. And all you have to do is approach this problem through a material science lens. Specifically, you need to think about the processing, structure, properties, and performance relationship between all of these. Specifically for wok seasoning, heating duration, burner dial, and oil quantity are the key processing parameters. And if you hone these correctly for the entire seasoning process, then you'll be able to get a really nicely seasoned wok. However, if you don't control these correctly, then you're going to be left with one that might have sticky residue. It's not very good for actual cooking. So we built an applet that took all of these parameters and processes and combined it into one as a nice little user-friendly game, in a sense, of seasoning a wok. First, you're able to adjust the heating on the burner so that you can understand what dial level to be using. And then you can also visually see the bluing of the wok, which is an oxide layer forming, and in real life, it is actually a blue color similar to this. Then you can also add and remove the oil as needed throughout the process. And up in the top right, you can see the oil starting to polymerize and grow into the seasoning layer that you want. And you can also visually see the other layers, such as the liquid oil and any charred residue that's not wanted. And at the end, it will tell you either whether you've reached your goal or you didn't do it and you want to start over. So using this found the best way to season a wok. First, fully blue it and allow it to cool a bit before you add any oil. And once you're adding the oil, do it in thin layers with repeated passes so the oxygen can diffuse through better. Lastly, keep the burner at a medium or medium-high heat to avoid any excessive charring. It isn't just about woks. By using this simulation, we can also understand how processing history impacts final performance in all material science aspects. Additionally, the mechanisms from this wok seasoning can be used to describe lab processes, such as crucible seasoning, and this can allow for experimentalists to really simulate the parameters that lead to a good outcome so that they don't have to. Thank you for listening.